Greetings to all of you. How are you on this fine day? This is Gideon coming to you again in this manner. Today we are going to talk about something extraordinary. As a star seed, you come to this world. There are processes that you go through. You then get taken to this place, this temple, what they call a temple. And it is. And there you go through a process where you leave your body and you come down here and you descend your energy till you begin your journey on this planet. Kind of like in our story about the lodge, Mark and the lodge. Now, after your initial incarnations, you get to a point where on this planet, you go to sleep. You forget who you are. You forget where you come from. But there is an inbuilt thing within each individual, whether you are a native human or a starseed. It's called curiosity. So there starts this process of wanting to understand things. And this curiosity helps drive evolution. And so after hundreds upon hundreds of incarnations where you are asleep, you get to an incarnation like this one. Now, I'll tell you something that you probably don't know. Before your current incarnation, you went beyond where you were in the near realms. And you went up onto the blue star, in an area of the ship where the vibrational frequency could be modulated, monitored, and allow you to interact. You were told that the greatest potential was that this was going to be your final incarnation. Now, in order for this to be successful, for this to truly be your final incarnation, it had to be successful. And it was. And all of a sudden, because you are told that the greatest potential is that this was going to be your final incarnation, this affected your choices for this incarnation, you see. Star seeds have a couple of different attributes around them. Number one, they have this strong desire to be of service. Many star seeds go, I want to help people. It's a common phraseology for star seeds. But there's another attribute with regards to star seeds. Because you see, the star seeds understand certain truths, you see. Perhaps not conscious in this incarnation, but on a soul level, you understand certain attributes. Number one, you understand the fact that you have lived a countless number of incarnations upon this world. Each of you have lived between 400 and 500 for the most part. There is one or two here who have lived more than that, but we'll just keep it between 400 and 500 for the purposes of this discussion. The exact number, inconsequential. All you need to know is that you've lived well over 400 different lifetimes. You've been married hundreds of times. You've had hundreds and hundreds of children. You have died hundreds and hundreds of times. It's part of the process and the cycle nature of incarnating on this planet as a starseed. Because you see, I am focused on the starseed for my conversations for a simple reason. The native human population, in truth, they really don't need my information. Their journey is still about another 4,000 years to go before they get to that point where they move into a higher dimensional reality. But for you, you see, you're going to be moving back into that higher dimensional reality. For the star seeds that are on this planet, are fifth and sixth dimensional entities, beings that have come from these different worlds. I'm going to poke some holes, if you will. He prefers not to. He is very kind in this regard. There are individuals out there who claim to be bringing forth information from ninth dimensional councils and ninth dimensional beings, and I hate to break it, but you are not. Ninth dimensional beings have no interest in what is going on here. They are engaged in their own reality, their own evolution, and they are consumed by that. The star seeds on this planet come mainly from the fifth dimension. Some come from the sixth dimension, and generally anyone beyond that is extremely limited, and they do not interact with anyone on this planet. The beings who interact on this planet are the ones who have individuals, shall we say, from where they are from, incarnated here, or someone like myself, who is here because I was asked to come here by source. I love this world. I have great love for every starseed. It does not matter who you are or where you come from. So, you're told that the greatest potential is this is going to be the last incarnation. You go, wait a minute. Because you see, as much as a starseed has this desire to be of service, to help people, the starseed also doesn't like leaving things undone. And you see, for many starseed, You have lived hundreds upon hundreds of lifetimes. There are energies from ancient lifetimes that still require to be balanced. There are things that you picked up in previous incarnations that need to be released, that need to be let go of. It's one of the reasons for the Blue Star Healing Method. To assist the star seeds in removing and releasing these things that they are carrying. That's why its focus is on the etheric body and removing past life objects, devices, entities, all sorts of things like this. So for many of you, you are very heavily laden with things to release. And you sit there and you scream and you pray and you want to know why you're having to deal with so much. Because you have chosen to experience so much. You have chosen to attempt to clear as much as you possibly can. So I will tell you, anything that you do not clear here will be cleared before you re-enter your body. You have to understand, when you came to this world as a starseed from another world in the higher dimensional reality, your physical body was not killed. You did not die to come here. You came here in your body, your physical body from your home. Okay? Your physical body is in the temple as we speak. So right now, I am on the blue star. You have the blue star, you have the gold star, you have the 1 star, and you have the emerald star. And these are 4 ships. The High Council of the God Star is on the blue star. But these 4 ships have all the people that is running this project. And you would say, let us put it this way. They are in physical bodies, wearing clothing, getting and going to work, interacting with people just like you are doing here. Are there differences? Of course there are. On my side of the veil, there is no money. We don't use money. We don't utilize money for power, for control, things like this. But I've got some really, really bad news for some of you. There is still duality in the 5th dimension. There are beings of light and there are beings of darkness. And believe it or not, there are still conflicts, wars. But it is different. You see, here on this planet, when you have a war, it is generally for territory, for property, for leverage, for controlling each other and controlling populations and instituting your mentality. And on our side of the veil, generally it's not about property, it's not about land, it's not about buildings, it's about a philosophy. Light and darkness. Because this grand cycle, yes, one that you're in right now, is complete free will choice. There are beings of light and beings of darkness incarnated here as starseed. Now, what is the difference between the two? To be honest with you, the starseeds who are here, whether they are of light or of darkness, they want this to be successful. That's why they're here. But those of light believe that everything should be done in accordance with a particular set of rules, in a particular set of steps, that everything should be controlled and everything like that, whereas those of darkness believe that evolution is best served through chaos, conflict. So you have to look at this. Are these two, what these two different groups or sides, is what they are saying true? And there is evolution, and there is change from both. You see, it is not a matter of the light must prevail over the darkness, nor should it ever be the darkness should prevail over light. It is about something much more simple, something much more concrete. Those of my people already discovered it, already know what it is. Find that balance within yourself. So for those of light and those of darkness, they are learning. They have these conflicts. One tries to get it over on the other. Doesn't work. And so they try and work it out. Why isn't it working? Source allows them to explore this themselves. Our job, and the job of, say, the Order of Armaeus, isn't to necessarily go and teach them. Our job is to maintain balance. Because as long as you can maintain balance, eventually both sides will learn and they will grow. And to be honest with you, did you know that right now there are reptilians who serve darkness, who no longer want to go down the track of trying to control and eliminate the light? And there are those of light who no longer want to control or eliminate those of darkness, because they are beginning to realize and understand. You have to get it through your head. It is a long process. So let's put some things into context. How long is this grand cycle? No, a little bit more of a context. How long has this project been going on? That's a really good question. How long has this project been going on? How many of you would be surprised if I told you in linear time, the time that consciously here you are most familiar with, it's over 200 million years. Spirit takes its time. Spirit doesn't rush. It takes time for people to learn, to understand, to put the pieces of the puzzle together, to put the clues together. It generally does not happen overnight. Think about it for a moment. 92 to 93% of all starseeds who have been here throughout this grand cycle. This includes every single one of you listening to this broadcast right now. More than likely, within the next 50 to, say, 60 years, most all of you will be gone from this world. You'll be back in your body. You'll be going home. And yet for the native human population, their journey is at least another 4,000 years. It takes time. The choice to evolve happened in 1987 in your framework, in your reality here. 1987. Phase 1 of Project Earth completed 5 years ago. The ascension is phase 4. You haven't finished phase 2 yet. Phase 2 won't be fully completed until after you're gone. It takes time. So you'll get to the other side, you'll get your body back, and you'll also get a parting gift, an information crystal, which will have a list of every incarnation you've had on this planet and the highlights of those lives. Get to take it with you. And then for the most part, most of you will be transferred from the temple onto a ship that has come from your home world. And for many of you, once you transfer over to that ship, unless they are waiting for a few other people, you will be transported home. You will reconnect with your family, your friends, colleagues. Undoubtedly, you will have meetings and questioning that your own people will want information from you about your experiences here. And you will start back in your life. There are countless worlds in this universe. Your neighbor here, Venus, in the 5th dimension, there are cities, there are ships, there are many, many people. They are assisting on this world. You incarnate into this world. You are now in linear time. So you have one lifetime after another. When you have completed a lifetime, it is now the past. The lifetime you're going to have after the one you're in is the future. It's challenging to forget who you really are, to forget where you come from, to forget your true family, to forget your friends, your special sacred places back home, places that you would go to, almost like a sanctuary to you, to forget all of these things. And then you get to a life right here, right now, this time. You start waking up and you go, wait a minute. I realize I don't come from this world. I am a starseed. If there are any of you sitting here now listening to this, asking yourself, am I a starseed? The simple answer is yes, because you see, if you were not a starseed, you would not be listening to this. Many of you hold spiritual beliefs and think, how wonderful would it be in this world if everyone viewed things the way I do? But not everyone comes from where you come from. This is why you have to be honorable within yourself to recognize that not everyone is going to hold the truth that you hold. There are starseed from well over 200 different worlds. They all have their own beliefs, truths, creation stories. Yes? They all have all of these things already from where they come from. It's just that, just like each other, they have decided to come here as a starseed, to be of service in a project that's not only going to change this world and the humanity of Earth on this world, but more than that. It's going to change this entire universe. On the other side, I'll be honest with you, we don't worry about time. Time over there works very differently than it does here. I'm not going to go into time because it would simply confuse the situation. And the bottom line is that until you are finished here, you reside here, you reside within linear time. However, the more you awaken, the more you connect to your own true energy, the more you begin to experience the quantum. Think about it. How many of you have gotten up one morning and had breakfast, gone through your day, and you get to the evening and you think back to breakfast of that morning, that very same morning, and you think to yourself, breakfast feels like it was 2 days ago. You've just experienced the quantum. Or you go to bed at night. You sleep all night. You don't wake up. And you wake up in the morning going, I feel more tired than when I went to bed. That's because on the other side, in linear time, it would be like you had been gone for 2 or 3 weeks. But because it's quantum time and it's circular time, they're able to put you back in at the end of that night's sleep. How we eat and what we eat is very different. For myself, I generally eat fruit. That is the main diet that I personally have. Although we understand that many people try and bully people to be vegans and stuff like that here, the bottom line is that if you look at your teeth and you look at these physical bodies eating meat, is a staple, if you will, for these physical bodies to operate much easier and better. There are exceptions for some people, because just like where I come from on this side of the veil, everyone is unique. But do not dictate your diet based on what other people say or on what you think it should be. Eat whatever your physical body is telling you to eat. That's part of living your life consciously, honestly. There are a massive amount of opinions, rules that people try and place upon you. I see this and I think to myself, no, surely they're not stupid enough to buy into that narrative and not trust their own intuition. And then I watch them do it anyway. So we come in to remind you. Now I want you, if you have a question, to get on your keyboard and you type in your question. And I will answer whatever questions that I can. So I want you to understand a couple of things about the fifth dimension. Up there, we have a much greater clarity of our path. For many of us, we are more focused on following our heart and guidance than most down here. We have a clarity of purpose. And we too are encouraged to follow our heart and guidance and our discernment. We have to make choices just like you do. And I hate to inform you of this, but we don't always get it right either. We make mistakes, we learn from it, we apply it, but we're more conscious about it. Everyone is different, please understand this, so I'm just telling you about myself. Generally speaking, I do not sleep. When I rest, I meditate. And normally when I rest, my meditation has a few things in it, generally speaking. Generally, it will have a waterfall in it. It will have sunshine in it, trees and forest, and dragons. And that is how I rest. And I will stay in that meditative state for as long as my body says I need to. I am here all the time with him. He literally turns around and runs into me constantly. Part of the fun, shall we say. So let us see what kind of interesting, fantastic questions you have been able to come up with for Gideon here. So let us just going to put it there. We will see here. So Sarah, I do. That is funny. You are excited to help from the other side, whatever it may be. I apologize, but you won't leave until it is time. There's a library you would love to visit. You do know that you can visit libraries anytime you want, whether they are here or elsewhere. Samantha Hayden, interesting question. If the universe is constantly changing, isn't it possible that ninth dimensional beings are also changing and evolving and not as self-serving as you mentioned? I don't believe actually that I mentioned the fact that they are self-serving. What I said is that they are focused on their own lives and their own evolution and things like this. The bottom line is each dimensional reality has its own attributes. Now, for myself, on the blue star, I'm in the fifth dimension. But I have been to the ninth dimension, and the beings there are wonderful beings. Their focus, for the most part, is releasing the final vestiges, if you will, of duality. There's a great deal of love and compassion amongst them. But you see, if they were to focus on what is happening here on this planet, which is in the third dimension, when we already have all these star seeds from the fifth and sixth dimension here, when we have literally over 1,000 different ships, do you really think that they would think, you know what, I think we're needed down there? No. They have their own path to follow. If it was a requirement for them to be here, I'll be honest, there'd be no reason for me to be here. James Russell, how much of the soul is into a body? Generally speaking, for the majority of starseeds, 85% of the soul is in the body, 85 to 90%. So 10 to 15% is not, and that 10 to 15% is what would be classified as the higher self. The higher self knows why you're here. It knows everything about that. And so your higher self assists in working with your guides and things like this to assist in guiding you in the directions you need to go into. Okay, that's a good question. David, Toshimiya Takai Torotomatesha. James at bluestarspiritual.org. Heather Walden, you are wanting more information on the blue avians. They contacted you recently. The blue avians is a fourth dimensional group, shall we say. They are a people, civilization, if you will. They are geared, their purpose is to assist this world as much as they can. They are not in the fifth dimension, they are in the fourth dimension, but they are not in the reality or the realm, if you will, of what you would term the near realm, which is around this planet. So the blue avians are fourth dimensional entities, beings, and they are interacting with certain humans in order to assist them in moving forward. Generally, the ones that they are connecting with have connections with them. Now, because their particular role, shall we say, is different from what ours is, I will not go into more than that, but they are here for the betterment of this world and of humanity. Not all of the beings who are here working with this planet are fifth dimensional beings. There are fourth dimensional beings here as well. So, Trish Jones, does everyone have a soul name? It's an interesting question, because for myself, I would say true name. Let me try and explain it to you in this fashion, in this manner, okay? The soul is more connected to who you truly are. Okay? You have a name that is your name in the fifth dimension. Now, for your reality here, for your understanding here, that soul name would be your true name. However, your true name is your name in that incarnation. So I will give you a piece of information. Most everyone, listen carefully, most everyone, including you, Trish, the soul doesn't necessarily have a name, as it has a unique vibrational frequency. Now, it is true that two people could have a very similar vibrational frequency. But they would be different. Each one is unique. For those individuals who do not have the vibrational frequency per se, which is an energetic vibrational frequency, some people have what's called a tone. Like in here, you would say a musical tone. Still others have a vibrational frequency tone. There are different variations to this theme, and it depends upon where the individual comes from. The one thing that is for certain is that it cannot be spoken here. My true name is not Gideon. As you may know, I spoke through someone else on this planet by a different name. That was not my true name either. My actual name is unpronounceable on this planet. So I'm going to give you kind of let me give you a different perspective of this. You have an actor. I'm just going to pick one. We will say this. Patrick Stewart played the part of Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek: The Next Generation in a number of different movies. He has now reprised that role in the new show Picard. Now, his character of Jean-Luc Picard was born and raised in France. His brother still lived in France with his wife and his nephew. His brother ran a winery. These are all parts of Jean-Luc Picard. This is his character. This is not his true life. In true reality, his name is Patrick Stewart, an actor, someone who loves Shakespeare. He would put little pieces of his true reality into his character. There are different episodes in Next Generation where Jean-Luc Picard would quote Shakespeare. So if you knew that Patrick Stewart loved Shakespeare and you watched Jean-Luc Picard quote Shakespeare, you knew that he was putting a little piece of his true self into his character. But he played the role of Picard. You are a starseed. You are incarnated on this planet. There are things that you may do. There may be things that you may say, the way you act, which is a reflection, if you will, of your true self. Yes? But it doesn't have anything to do with the role you are playing here. It is almost like you are an actor playing a role here. Why are you playing this role? To assist the humanity of Earth in its evolution and ascension. How do you do that? By being a living example. by putting your energy into the planet through hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes, helping to guide humanity in many, many different lifetimes that now, in this moment, you don't recall, you don't remember. You see. I'll give you a more concrete example. In true reality, this one, I enjoy a good laugh. He can generally enjoy a good laugh as well. But on the other side, as well as on this side, you will never, ever find him being a comedian because he's horrendous at it, because he, generally speaking, is very serious with things. And that goes for here as well. So that's an attribute he brings from the other side, you see. It doesn't define him here, but it is an attribute. Hopefully this has answered your question. I like stories. I love how people send personal messages while we are doing this when I cannot look at them. Amanda Sears, you are wanting to find out why your magazine is not going anywhere in the moment. It takes time. The more it goes out, reaches out, the more potential it has to reach people. When one is doing something like this, generally speaking, it takes time. It doesn't change overnight. Allow me to try and explain it to you a little bit more clearly, shall we say. You get guidance to do something, and you ignore it. And then the guidance that you received comes to pass, and you go, damn, I thought that, I felt that. Should have listened to myself. It happens again. This time you follow that guidance. And it works. And then Spirit changes the rules on you for a moment. You receive guidance and you follow it and nothing happens. And this is actually a test to see if the next time you get guidance, will you follow it or not? And when you do, Spirit goes, okay. Things begin to change. Spirit begins to meet you halfway. Right now, in your moment, you are in that place where things are shifting and changing some. You are solidifying things. You are changing who some of the writers are, what some of the features are. You are working on it, shall we say. If you are doing it because it's what you're guided to do, and you continue to do it, it will grow. It will change. If I have this correct, you have done less than 10 editions. So it is still brand new. Patience is vitally important. Step by step. That would be my suggestion. Sarah, do I visit others in this group? Not really, no. I made a choice. And so, except for particular moments in time, if you want me, I am with this one. I stand on his right-hand side. I'm somewhat of a gatekeeper for him now, because the work that we are doing is highly important. Sheena Cousins, you're not sure what you are supposed to be doing. However, you know you're on the right path. So I'm going to, this is for everyone, so listen carefully. There is no requirement for you to know it all. Know the ins and outs of why you are here. It's not important. What is important is when you go within and you discern. And you discern, and what resonates is you're on the right path. What is asked of you, and asked of all of you, it's very simple, you see. Trust in your heart. Trust in your intuition, your discernment. This one has said that time and time again. Al Sharon has said it. I even spent a few weeks back explaining on a base level what trust and faith in yourself, for yourself, and trust in spirit truly meant. If you discern and you know you're on the right path, don't worry about the rest. Trust yourself. Back yourself. But now, there's something else that you said that I want to address. Because you're not the only one who feels this. You spoke and you gave support and energy to 3 different ones. And then you felt drained. And I want to address this and I want to explain to you about that a little bit. Everyone listen, because it's important to understand. If you work with somebody and then you feel drained, You are basically giving them your energy. It's not about you giving them your energy. Your energy is for you. Their energy is for them. I know, I hear. So what are we supposed to do then? Another reason for the Blue Star Healing Method. No longer should you be giving your energy to them. You run the energy through your heart. And not only can you give them energy, but it won't drain you. It will sustain you. It will energize yourself. You don't invoke outside energies to move through. Your heart is the seat of the soul. It has an attribute of source. So technically speaking, we are all unique individuals. With our own truths, our own beliefs, our own ways of doing things. And yet there is a very fine, thin, golden cord that connects all of us, which is through the divine spark. So if you are going to do a healing on someone and speaking to people and giving them support is a form of healing, believe it or not. Just allow your heart to open more. Allow the energy to flow from your heart, and it won't drain you. That would be my suggestion. Seraphina Starfay, why do you feel like you don't fit in anywhere? Because you are beginning to connect more and more with your true energy. You don't fully realize it, and that's understandable because you are here. Small talk drives you crazy. I can assure you, you're not the only one. So you open up to those that you feel guided to be opened up to. You interact with people to interact with people. Don't place too much emphasis on things happening in a particular way or that they should happen in a certain way or the interaction has to be in a certain way. Sometimes it's fine to just let go, release, and just don't worry about anything. Have an interaction and view it as simply entertainment. If you do that, it'll make it much easier. Yes, I know. Sheena cousins, do not worry about anything like that, because in truth, this is one incarnation in over 400 incarnations. Your true family has never thrown you away. Kim Chemistry B. I like that name. It rolls on the tongue. Can you purpose change from what was and become more expansive? Yes. You do this by trusting in your heart and listening to your heart. The thing you have to remember is this: things don't always happen as quickly or as fast as you think that they should. Taking a leap of faith is trusting your heart. It's not always easy, but it's what drives the spirit forward. The thing is, I can tell you this: you're never going to have all the answers that you are looking for. You don't need them. As long as you can trust in yourself and your discernment and you follow that, then the one thing that all you need to really realize and accept and understand is that you'll be in the right place at the right time and you'll do what is required and what is needed. You have to understand, and I want everyone to understand this very, very clearly. If you knew too much about your true self, if you knew too much about the other side, if you knew too much about why you are here, it has a detrimental effect. You can't be here. That's why you're always told over and over again, trust and faith. Please understand, you're doing so much more right than you realize. Lena Carriage. There is something I want you to take away from today. I read your words. I feel your heart. And there is something I need you to embrace and take with you from this interaction. And I want you all to hear this, because it's so vitally important. Number one, hopefully you now understand, Lena, you are not alone. There are many listening to this channeling, this one in fact as well, who feels the same way. Number two, I'm going to make you a promise, but not just you, to every single person who is listening to this. We understand when you connect in and you go, I wish I was there. You feel homesick. We get that. We understand this. That is a side effect, shall we say, to awakening. Part of the double-edged sword that I was speaking about last week. So I want you to understand this, each one of you. Your true families have not had you for quite some time, because you have been here interacting, living lifetime after lifetime after lifetime on this planet. And what you need to remember and realize, because I'm going to give you another little piece about the other side of the veil. Here, your reality, your awareness is this incarnation. Now, some of you, like him, he's very good at telling people past lives. And some of you know some of your past lives. But remember, you've all lived over 400 lifetimes here. So for you and your reality is this incarnation. It's this life. For your true family on the other side, they have missed you for a long time. Because you've been on this mission, on this assignment for a long time. Lena, you say you feel homesick. They don't feel homesick, but they do want you home. So I can assure you of this, when you are done here, one way or another, you will leave. You will be put back into your normal, everyday, true body. You'll be reawakened, integrated. You'll get your information crystal, and you will go be with your family. And more than likely, you will also even say, even though in this moment here, in these physical forms, you probably would go, Gideon, I don't think I'm going to agree with you on that. But even if you live to be 80 years old, in this incarnation, when you get to the other side, you're going to say that last incarnation really didn't take that long. Think about it. Some of you have only been awakened for a few months. This is one incarnation. Let's say you've had 463 incarnations. What's one lifetime compared to that? Well, Amy Swift, you may not feel like you're meant to go back yet, and you may not. Remember, I said 92 to 93% of current starseeds in this incarnation will be returning home. But then again, truth be told, not everyone who finishes here will actually be going home initially because they'll be going somewhere else. But we won't get into that because there's a lot more to that, shall we say. Isha Crane, you've been working on your discernment and meditation. Some memories have crept in, and you're curious about some guidance. So here is what I would suggest. This does not work for everyone, but this is my feeling, my guidance for you personally. Keep a journal. Write down your impressions, write down your feelings, write down what you get, write down your little visions, all of these things. Don't worry about writing them all down one day and then going, okay, I'll go back and I'll read this time and time again. No, just write them down, and every so often get them out and start reading them and see if there's a pattern, see if there's a message. And more times than not, when you do this, you will open up that passageway, because the more you are engaged with it, the more it will open. That is simply my suggestion. I do so enjoy these questions, I do. And I thank each of you who has the courage to put them in there. Fiona, we are in the third dimension. Well, you are in the third dimension here. Yes, that is true. Those like myself are in the fifth dimension. I am in the fifth dimension at the moment, yes. Participating with this project. However, is your true current home world then located also in the fifth dimension? Or if not, then what dimension is it located? This is an excellent question. And I can tell you that and I'm speaking directly to you, Fiona, your current true home, which is your true home, technically speaking, is in no dimension. Generally speaking, for the majority of your work beyond this world is located primarily in the fifth dimension, but sometimes the sixth dimension. And there are particular worlds in these dimensions that you, to put it in, I'm trying to put this into human terminology. There are places that you go to that are in the fifth and sixth dimension, but I'm talking about your true home. Your particular true home is not in any particular dimension. It is in a different kind of space. Heather, can I elaborate on what those from the blue star are? You were told that you were from the blue star. The blue star has a couple of different variations. There are many who classified that they are from the blue star, and this is in relation to Sirius. The particular blue star that I'm referring to is a ship. Those on that ship include the High Council of the God Star. It includes a detachment, if you will, a group that is from the Intergalactic Federation. It includes a group from the Pleiadian star system, the Sirius star system, and the Arcturian star system as well. They actually share a space. There is also two different decks that are controlled by what is termed the Order of Armaeus. And there is also a rather large medical facility, because that particular medical facility oversees the temple that houses all of the bodies of the starseeds, but they also work a great deal with the starseeds in between incarnations as well as during particular incarnations. In the lower levels, there is different bays, or what you would term hangars. The main group that we use much different verbiage in terminology and phraseology, but in essence, those who are in charge and in control of the Blue Star starship is the High Council of the God Star, along with the Order of Armaeus. They are not from the Blue Star. It's just that the ship is called the Blue Star, just like you have Blue Star, One Star, Gold Star, Emerald Star. These are names of the ships. These are not indicative of where they come from. Generally, those who are known to be from the Blue Star, as far as a place, that is generally referring to Sirius. I hope that answers that question. Samantha Hayden, you were told that your whole soul was here and wanting some insight on how this will affect your incarnation, and you're unable to find any information on this when you've researched this. You haven't found information on it because nobody's put information out there on it. You have to understand that there is a great deal of information that hasn't been shared on this planet before, which is one of the reasons why I'm here. So let me put it to you in this manner. An alteration was done to your soul so that your entire soul would fit into your physical self, shall we say. The only difference between that and any other starseed who has 85 to 90% of their soul in their physical body is that you don't have a higher self like they do. However, you have three beings from your actual home who in essence are acting like your higher self. So as far as your particular incarnation goes, it doesn't really affect your incarnation at all. Your incarnation is your incarnation, just like any other starseed. I hope that's given you more information. Yes, this is still live, Wendy. Thank you for asking. Stacey Fair, why do you feel so lost? Because you've gotten away from listening to your heart. You need to stop listening to everyone else so much and just focus on listening within. That will make a great deal of difference for you. I am only going to answer one last question because we have gone much longer than I expected. Well, for me, it's fine. We've gone longer than he expected, but it doesn't matter to him either because he's not present at the moment. He's busy. He's dealing with messages at the moment. And I'll tell you what those messages are in just a moment. So be patient. Joanne, you've had so many coming to you for guidance and everything, and you explained to them actually resonate with them, and 4 of them, their life path number is 11, like yours is master number. Does this mean anything? No. I would say that what you need to do is you need to realize that sometimes when you have these interactions, It's sometimes more important that it's giving you a confirmation. So I must stop there. So I'm going to tell you what we've done. And I realize that for each one of you, you're going to say, not fair. Please listen carefully because it is raining very heavily outside. As I said, this one was off doing messages. So here's what we've done. While I've been here talking to each of you, and I realize we've had an influx, people have come and people have gone. But if you've listened to this channeling to this point, this is something to hold on to. Within each one of your hearts, a message has been placed by him. The message is from me. Each one is unique to each one of you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what your message is. This is for you to discern, for you to connect with. Do not even ask me, do I have it right? Discern, see if it resonates. And if you don't get the message consciously, please understand this. Within, you will receive the message. And when you need it the most, even though you may not even remember this conversation, it will be there for you. Sometimes it will seem that it's come from out of nowhere. Much love to all of you. I am Gideon, and we will see you next time. Tonya ke la hitorotomai shiatake, yamoroto shamiata, yamato kareta mote shiapata.